Welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by CivicCentre IAS, where we try to discuss the top 10 important topics for the UPSC CSE Prelims for the day from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB. Displayed are the list of topics which we have chosen for today's discussion. The first article of the day says that the Government of India and the Asian Development Bank today signed a $40 million loan to provide coastal and riverbank protection to increase resilience of the local communities and natural ecosystems in the state of Maharashtra. In this context, we'll talk about the Asian Development Bank. See, the Asian Development Bank is a regional development bank established in 1966 with a mission to foster a prosperous, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable Asia and the Pacific while working to eradicate extreme poverty. So, what is it exactly? See, the vision of Asian Development Bank is achieving a prosperous, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable Asia and the Pacific. Furthermore, the mission is sustaining the efforts to eradicate extreme poverty in the region. Also, know that with respect to the membership, there are 69 members, including 49 from within Asia and the Pacific and 20 from outside. So, how has this originated? See, conceived in the early 1960s as a financial institution with an Asian character to support economic growth and cooperation in one of the world's poorest regions. Furthermore, it was initiated at the 1963 Ministerial Conference on Asia Economic Cooperation under the United Nations. Know that the headquarters is in Manila of Philippines. So, it was established on December 19th of 1966 with 31 founding members. Know that the earlier focus was on food production and rural development, reflecting the region's agricultural roots. So what does Asian Development Bank do? See, it provides comprehensive support to developing member countries, promoting economic and social development through, firstly, loans, technical assistance, grants, equity and equity investments. Secondly, facilitating policy dialogues and providing advisory services. Thirdly, co-financing operations with official, commercial and export credit sources. Furthermore, if you have to look at the strategic focus areas of it, they are outlined in the Strategy 2030 Midterm Review. Asian Development Bank's strategic focus areas include climate action, private sector development, regional cooperation and public goods, digital transformation, resilience and empowerment, etc. The second article of the day says that nanoplastics derived from single-use plastic bottles contribute to the spread of antimicrobitic resistance, shows a new study underscoring an unrecognized public health risk. Furthermore, the joint threats of plastic pollution and antibiotic resistance are growing concerns. Also, the nanoplastics and microorganisms coexist in diverse environments, including human gut. In this context, we'll talk about the threat of nanoplastics. Firstly, with respect to the plastic pollution, see, nanoplastics originate from the degradation of plastics like polyethylene tetrafluoride, commonly found in single-use water bottles. Furthermore, these particles coexist with microorganisms in various environments, including human gut. Now, what is antibiotic resistance? See, antibiotics can save lives and are more important tools for treating common and serious bacterial infections. But antibiotic resistance is a major global health issue where bacteria develop resistance to antibiotics, making infections harder to treat. Now, if you have to talk about the study insights by INST Mohalli, see, the objective is to explore the role of nanoplastics of transforming beneficial gut bacteria into carriers of AR genes. Furthermore, the focus organism was Lactobacillus acidophilus, which is a crucial gut bacterium. Now, if we have to talk about the mechanisms of AR gene transfer, see, two pathways were identified by the researchers. The first one was a direct transformation pathway, where the nanoplastics act as physical carriers transporting AR plasmids across bacterial membranes, and these facilitate a direct gene transfer between the bacteria. The second one is the OMV-induced transfer pathway, where the nanoplastics can cause oxidative stress and bacterial surface damage. Furthermore, they trigger an increase in outer membrane vesicle secretion loaded with AR genes. Also, the OMVs act as vectors enabling cross-species AR gene transfer, including to unrelated bacteria. Now, talking about the implications of these findings, firstly, with respect to the human health, see, nanoplastics contribute to the AR crisis by introducing AR genes into beneficial bacteria like Lactobacillus acidophilus. Furthermore, the beneficial bacteria could become reservoirs for AR genes, transferring them to pathogens during infections. Then, with respect to this importance of the gut bacteria, see they support the immunity, digestion, and disease prevention. Furthermore, the nanoplastic contamination can compromise the microbiome integrity and resilience. The third article of the day talks about the key government initiatives in bioenergy and hydrocarbon development. In this context, we'll talk about them. Firstly, talking about the National Bioenergy Program. See, the objective of the program is to promote bioenergy and waste to energy technologies for clean energy, energy security, and sustainable development. If we have to talk about the key measures taken from 2014, firstly, expansion of feedstock for ethanol production. Secondly, we have the ethanol blending program, where it was administered price mechanism for sugarcane based ethanol procurement, and also GST rate reduced to 5% on ethanol for ethanol blending program, and introduction of ethanol interest subvention schemes for ethanol production from molasses and grains. And lastly, long-term off-take agreements by oil marketing companies with dedicated ethanol plants. Furthermore, we have the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Yojana, which was launched in 2019 and amended in 2024, where financial support for advanced biofuel projects using lignocellulosic biomass and renewable feedstock is provided. Also, a financial assistance of 908 crore approved for 6 commercial scale and 4 demonstration scale 2G ethanol projects. For instance, Panipat of Haryana commercial scale project is operational and 3 others are under construction. Talking about its impact, so what in years ethanol blending reduced 557 lakh metric tons of CO2 emissions. Secondly, talking about the promotion of maize for the ethanol production. The objective is to establish a maize as a major feedstock for grain-based ethanol. If you have to talk about the initiatives by ICAR and IIMR, see, the project is enhancement of maize production in catchment area and ethanol industries. These are the key activities included under it, and the demonstrations were done for the Kharif and the Rabi seasons. Furthermore, specialized training for distillers and seed production organizations was provided. And lastly, we have the Oil Fields Regulation and Development Amendment Bill of 2024, whose objective is to boost the domestic oil and gas production, reduce import dependence, and attract investments. Furthermore, if you have to talk at the key provisions, C promotes the ease of doing business in the exploration and the production sector. Secondly, it encourages exploration, development, and production of all hydrocarbons. And lastly, it provides opportunities for risk mitigation and investor stability. Furthermore, there is no-go area reduction, where the reduction from 13,66,708 SKM to 24,832 SKM. Also, it opened 99% of the restricted areas in the Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, and Arabian Sea for the exploration. Now, what are the expected outcomes? C. To unlock the valuable mineral oil resources and to facilitate exploration in previously unexplored oil gas fields. The next article talks about the E-Shram Portal. See, the E-Shram Portal, launched by the Ministry of Labour and Employment on August 26th of 2021, is a major initiative by the Government of India aimed at supporting the unorganized workforce, which forms the backbone of nation's economy. Now, what are the objectives of E-Shram Portal? Firstly, to establish a centralized database of unorganized workers for effective policy implementation. Secondly, to enhance access to social security schemes and benefits for the workers in sectors such as agriculture, construction, domestic work, and street vending. Furthermore, to facilitate job matching and skill development opportunities. Then, to strengthen the labor market resilience by integrating unorganized workers into formal economy. And lastly, to promote a financial inclusion through direct benefit transfer and digital payments. Now, if we have to talk about the key benefits of the E-Shram Portal, see, the E-Shram Portal offers several user-centric features. Firstly, registered workers receive a universal account number linked to their Aadhaar, enabling seamless access to benefits. Secondly, the portal streamlines the registration process, requiring minimal documentation such as Aadhaar and bank account details. So the ease of self-registration is also available to the beneficiaries. Then thirdly, the workers from diverse regions can access the portal in multiple Indian languages, ensuring inclusivity. Then a dedicated helpline and support system address workers' queries and grievances promptly. Furthermore, the registered workers can connect with employment opportunities, skilling, apprenticeship, pension schemes, digital skilling, and state-specific schemes through the portal. Then the family details for the migrant workers are captured, aiding in the provision of child education and women-centric schemes for those who have migrated with their families. Then the data of the construction workers registering on the E-Shram is shared with the concerned building and other construction workers welfare boards, ensuring their registration with respective boards and access to schemes meant for them. And lastly, data sharing portal has been launched to allow the secure sharing of E-Shram beneficiary data with the state and union territory governments, which facilitates the targeted implementation of social security and welfare schemes for the registered unorganized workers. Next article says that about 4 years after the centre introduced a subquota of 5% for the particularly vulnerable tribal groups in admissions to Ekalavya model residential schools for tribal students across the country, government data show they are struggling to meet this quota. So just 3.4% of the students in these schools are now from these communities. In this context, we'll talk about the Ekalavya model residential schools. See, the school started in the year 1997-98 to impart quality education to ST children in remote areas to enable them to access the best opportunities in education and to bring them at par with the general population. Furthermore, these Ekalavya model residential schools were established in states or UTs from the grants received under Article 275 Clause 1 of the Constitution of India. If you have to look at the features of these schools, see, they are co-educational residential schools from class 6 to class 12. Furthermore, the Ekalavya schools will be on par with Navodaya Vidyalayas and will have special features for preserving local art and culture besides providing training in sports and skill development. Also, each school has a capacity of 480 students with equal number of seats for boys and girls. Then the non-ST students can be admitted in these schools on seats up to 10% of the total seats. Significantly, CBSE curriculum is followed in these schools and education is completely free. Furthermore, the National Education Society for the Tribal Students, which is an autonomous organization, has been set up under the Ministry of Tribal Welfare to establish and manage this Ekalavya model residential schools across the country. Now, moving on to talk about the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. See, the PVTGs are the most vulnerable among the tribal communities, characterized by specific features such as resilience on hunting and gathering, pre-agriculture technology, zero or negative population growth, and extremely low literacy level. Now, what is the criteria for the identification of particularly vulnerable tribal groups? See, the Government of India identifies PVTGs based on the following criteria. Firstly, pre-agriculture level of technology. Secondly, low literacy levels. Thirdly, economic backwardness. And lastly, declining or stagnant population. So, using this criteria, 75 PVTGs have been identified across the country. The next article says that in a step towards discouraging foreign imports of components used in solar panel manufacturing, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has set a deadline of June 26, after which solar companies must use only India-made solar photovoltaic cells in their panels to participate in the government procurement programs. In this context, we'll talk about the relevant aspects. See, firstly, the solar photovoltaic cells convert solar radiation into electricity. Know that a solar cell is a semiconducting device made of silicon and or other materials which when exposed to sunlight generates electricity. Moving on to talk about the PM-KUSUM. See, the PM-KUSUM, which stands for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Saraksha Evam Utthan Mahabhiyan scheme, is aimed at ensuring energy security for the farmers in India, along with honoring India's commitment and increase the installed capacity of electric power from non-fossil fuel sources to 40% by 2030 as part of the intended nationally determined contributions. Furthermore, the scheme is for the de-dieselization of farm sector and enhancing the income of farmers. Now, under the scheme, the central government subsidy is up to 30% or 50% of the total cost is given of the installation of the standalone solar pumps and also for the solarization of existing grid-connected agricultural pumps. Furthermore, the farmers can also install grid-connected solar power plants up to 2 MW under the scheme on their barren or fallow land and sell electricity to local discom at a tariff determined by the state regulator. Now, the scheme is being implemented by the designated departments of the state government. Moving on to talk about the PM Rooftop Solar Scheme. See, the PM Rooftop Solar Scheme was started in the year 2014. Know that the scheme focuses on expanding the capacity to install rooftop solar in the residential sector. Significantly, the main objective of the scheme is to provide financial assistance and incentives to solar power distribution companies at central level. So, under this program, a target has been set to achieve a 40 gigawatt rooftop solar install capacity by March 2026. Also, the scheme empowers consumers to choose the vendor and solar equipment based on their preferences. Then, under the scheme, after the installation and inspection of the solar panels, the subsidy given by the government is directly transferred to the bank accounts of the consumers. Know that the consumers have been provided the right to export the surplus solar power to the grid while receiving monetary benefits as per the prevailing rules laid down by the State Electricity Regulatory Commissions or the Joint Electricity Regulatory Commissions. The next article says that India and France on Thursday signed a memorandum of understanding for the development of new national museum on the lines of the Louvre in Paris at the historic North Block and South Block in the national capital. Know that the museum named Yuga Yugi in Bharat, when completed, would be the largest in the world. In this context, we'll just briefly talk about the Indo-France bilateral relations. See, since the establishment of diplomatic ties in 1948, India and France have enjoyed 75 years of close and friendly relations. So in 1998, India and France elevated their diplomatic relationship to strategic partnership with completed 25 years in January 2023. This strategic partnership for France outside the European Union has been instrumental in a comprehensive growth of India-France relationship. Now, if you have to look at the key pillars of India-France cooperation, firstly, with respect to defense, the Agreement on Defense Cooperation signed in 2006 and renewed for other 10 years in 2016 gives the framework for all defense cooperation activities between India and France. So, a DRDO office was opened in the embassy in 2023 for strengthening the technology cooperation. Then, with respect to space cooperation, ISRO and the French Space Agency CNES have been carrying on various joint research programs and collaborating in satellite launches. For instance, on June 22nd of 2022, GSAT-24 communication satellite of New Space India Limited was successfully launched on board Ariane 5 from Kourou of French Guiana. Then, with respect to civil nuclear cooperation, an agreement on the civil nuclear cooperation was signed between India and France in 2008. Furthermore, France is involved in the construction of Jayapur nuclear power plant. The two sides have also agreed to establish a small partnership on small modular reactors and advanced modular reactors. Then, with respect to the economic cooperation, they have important bilateral investments and trade and commercial cooperation, particularly in sectors involving IT corridors, smart cities, railways, capital and trade exchanges, skill development, etc. Furthermore, France has emerged as 11th largest investor in India with FDI inflow of $10.5 billion from April 2000 to March 2023. So these are with respect to digital cooperation, cultural and tourism cooperation and maritime cooperation. You can have a look. The last article of the day talks about the Swadesh Darshan scheme. See, the objective of the scheme is to promote cultural and heritage tourism by augmenting tourism facilities, enhancing the tourist attractiveness and creating awareness among the local communities about the tourism's importance. Furthermore, the funding is provided by financial assistance to the state and UT administrations or the central agencies. Know that the achievements, if you have to talk about the achievements, firstly, coastal circuit with respect to 2016 and 17, where development of Chennai, Mamalapuram, Rameswaram, Manpadu and Kanyakumari with 73.13 crore was sanctioned and 71.03 crore was already released. Then Swadesh version 2.0 was launched, which is a revamped version focusing on sustainable and responsible destination development. But there is also challenge-based destination development under Swadesh Darshan 2.0, where the objective is to enhance tourism experience through holistic destination development. Then the key destinations identified are 42 destinations under CBDD, including Tanjavur and Rameshwaram Island in Tamil Nadu. So these are the recent developments in the Swadesh Darshan scheme with respect to Swadesh Darshan 2.0. So in this video, we have discussed 8 articles in total for today. We'll be back again with another video tomorrow. Thank you.